What up, y'all? This is your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Melo, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report on iHeartRadio for Wednesday, July 29th, 2015, delivering some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo, that's RAYMELO, or on Twitter at The Enter Report. You can listen to the show anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Channing Tatum's Gambit deal is in jeopardy of falling apart, and he is planning to exit the comic book project at 20th Century Fox. An individual with knowledge of the situation has told The Wrap. The studio has been in the process of testing young actresses to star alongside Tatum, including Leah Seydoux, but insiders suggest that director Rupert Wyatt will soon have to find a new leading man. It is unclear whether Tatum and his producing partner, Reed Carolyn, plan to remove itself in a producing capacity, or whether Simon Kinberg and Lauren Schuller Donner will move forward on their own. Representatives for 20th Century Fox and Tatum cannot immediately be reached for comment. One individual close to the project told The Wrap that Tatum's reps are still in active discussions with the studio, but acknowledged that something is up. The situation will have to be quickly resolved, as Gambit is slated for release on October 7, 2016. Tatum recently appeared at San Diego's Comic-Con to hype his turn as New Orleans thief Remy LeBeau, a.k.a. Gambit. The character was originally played by Taylor Kitsch in 2009's X-Men Origins Wolverine. Gambit has been a long passion project for Tatum, whose attachment encouraged 20th Century Fox to wrap up production. However, Tatum also has a large ambition which may play a role in the current situation. In a recent Grantland profile, Carolyn said that he and Tatum are planning to make their directorial debut soon, so if possible that the star's desire to see behind the camera is factoring into his decision. The actor is also slated to star in 23rd Jump Street for Sony. Donald Trump's special counsel Michael Cohen has apologized for telling a Daily Beast reporter that legally you cannot rape your spouse. Still, several high-profile Hollywood lawyers say Cohen is dead wrong on the law, not to mention being seriously undiplomatic. Criminal defense attorney Mark McBride told on The Wrap Tuesday, Cohen needs to be fired yesterday, and you can quote me on that. Cohen, the executive vice president of the Trump Organization, was trying to shoot down a decade's old report that Trump's ex-wife Ivana Trump once accused the Republican presidential frontrunner of rape. Ivana Trump has since called the Daily Beast story totally without merit. But Cohen's assertion about the impossibility of spousal rape has drawn widespread criticism. Steve Meister told The Wrap he either made that statement out of ignorance or he's a bully out to impress his loudmouth client, the former sex crimes prosecutor and criminal litigator said. He also added, either way, Cohen made himself sound like an idiot. On Tuesday, a day after making his controversial remarks, Cohen issued a mea culpa, saying that he was caught off guard by the Daily Beast's reporters' repressible and false allegation against Trump. In my moment of anger and shock, I made an inarticulate comment which I do not believe and for which I apologize for entirely. For his part, Trump said Tuesday that Cohen will not be sent packing from his organization despite his unauthorized comments. Trump said to CNN's Don Lemon, he's speaking for himself, he's not speaking for me. Michael was extremely angry because he knew the alleged incident never took place. Attorneys suggest that Cohen was likely relying on outdated definitions of rape. Steve Cohen, the Los Angeles-based criminal defense attorney, said, under common law, the wife was considered chattel, a term that means possession just like a chair or a house. So you can rape her because she was legally yours, but these days it's absolutely possible that a husband can rape his wife. He also added what Cohen said is high up there in the realm of stupid things someone can say in defense of his client. Marital rape has been illegal in all 50 states since 1993, and non-consensual sex between spouses does in fact constitute rape according to the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. The organization told The Wrap in a statement, in New York, where the incident took place specifically, the state's highest court ruled in 1984 that a marital exemption in its rape laws was unconstitutional. Like all survivors of sexual assault, people raped by a spouse must deal with significant emotional and physical and psychological effects. Survivors of marital rape can face additional hurdles, such as loss of trust in someone they cared for deeply and a fear of telling or reporting due to family or economic considerations. And in a related story, Donald Trump is ready to take on Mexico, China, and Iran, but breast pumping might be the real estate mogul's kryptonite. Appearing on CNN's Newsday on Wednesday, Elizabeth Beck, an attorney who appeared in court against Trump in 2011, representing tenants of Trump's property, said Trump got irritated when she took a break to breast pump. He screamed, you're disgusting, and he ran out of there," Beck recounted, explaining that a pre-agreed upon breast pumping break was too much for Trump to handle. She said, "It makes you wonder what kind of presidential candidate who can't even handle a legal proceeding, a deposition that involves a breast pump. What kind of leader of the United States would that be?" Trump's attorney claims the presidential candidate called Beck disgusting because she was breast pumping in the courtroom, which she's denied. Afterwards, let the hashtag #TrumpGotMilk Twitter's meme began. People around the world are speaking out about the death of Cecil the lion, who was shot and killed by an American hunter earlier this month. Zimbabwe's most famous lion was found skinned and decapitated outside a national park on the outskirts of Hwang after Walter Palmer, a dentist from Minnesota, reportedly paid $50,000 to shoot him with a crossbow and rifle. The killing of the 13-year-old lion, who was famed for his lush black tingle man, quickly sparked outrage across Hollywood from famous animal lovers who condemned Palmer's actions. Olivia Wilde tweeted, "Oh, the dentist had no idea that the lion was famous. Because he had known, he would never have murdered it without asking for a selfie first." Meanwhile, The Office's creator, Ricky Gervais, who has become a vocal supporter for animal rights, tweeted, "Rest in peace, hashtag Cecil the lion. I'm struggling to imagine anything more beautiful than this." The talk's co-host Sharon Osbourne went as far as to call Palmer Satan, and he warned people not to seek his dental services. "He's a killer, beware." Police in Zimbabwe have arrested 2 people over Cecil's death, and Palmer is being sought by officials in connection with the case, according to CNN. He may also face poaching charges, as well as believe that the lion was lured out of the national park into an adjacent hunting concession area with freshly killed bait. Aside from his good looks, Cecil was a participant in a study that Oxford University in the UK was conducting, and he had been outfitted with a GPS collar. In a statement released Tuesday and reported by CNN, Palmer claimed he hired professional guides who secured proper permits. He said, "To my knowledge, everything about this trip was legal and properly handled and conducted. I had no idea that the lion I took was a known local favorite and was collared and part of the study until the end of the hunt. I relied on the expertise of my local professional guides to ensure a legal hunt." He concluded by saying, "I deeply regretted that my pursuits of an activity I love and practice responsibly and legally resulted in the taking of this lion," claiming that authorities in Zimbabwe and the U.S. had not yet contacted him, but he would assist them in any inquiries. Palmer's dental practice was closed Tuesday, while his Facebook page and website has been both shut down after being flooded by furious commentators, prompting some users to turn to Yelp, with one calling him an American psycho incarnate. Other notable celebrities tweeted. Nikki Rothschild tweeted, "Hunting is not a sport. In a sport, both sides know they're in the game. Hashtag Cecil the Lion." Actor Jerry O'Connell tweeted, "Used to hate my dentist for yelling at me about my night guard, but at least she didn't kill. Hashtag Cecil the Lion." Ashlyn Gorse Cousteau tweeted, "I understand hunting overpopulated and invasive species, but hunting is a threatened animal that's deplorable. Hashtag Cecil the Lion." Singer Mandy Moore tweeted, "This is heartbreaking in every possible way. What a loss. Trophy hunting is shameful and disgusting. Hashtag Cecil the Lion." Ricky Martin, hashtag Justice for Cecil the Lion now. Actress Alyssa Milano tweeted, "This asshole. Why would anyone want to kill a lion for fun? What is wrong with people?" Theo Rossi tweeted, "We will never learn of the damage we have done until there's nothing left. Hashtag Cecil the Lion." Actress Devin Messing tweeted, "Shame on him. I want them to take his citizenship away. I'm ashamed and horrified by what he did. Hashtag Cecil the Lion." Jimmy Kimmel weighed in on the Cecil the Lion issue during his monologue on Tuesday night, and he didn't hold back, choking up a little as he made clear his disgust and likened the president's hatred of Hunter Walter Palmer to the public feeling towards Bill Cosby. The host of Jimmy Kimmel Live recapped the story of Palmer, a Minnesota dentist and hunting enthusiast who had paid $55,000 to hunt, track, and kill an African lion. Palmer ended up illegally killing Cecil, a popular lion at a Zimbabwean national park, who was tagged for scientific research by Oxford University. Kimmel's passionate monologue was in parts disgusted by Palmer's act of escalating the dentist's motivation and questioning whether he hunted for sexual thrills. Here's a listen to the entire monologue.
Last night, this is, or I should say was, Cecil the lion, beautiful animal, 13 years old. He'd been wearing a GPS collar as part of an Oxford University research project. They've been tracking him for years, and during that time, Cecil became like a local favorite amongst the tourists and the guides. He was always around. People loved to see him on safaris until earlier this month when a tourist on a hunting trip shot him. And of course, everyone is angry and upset. Last night I read this story. I happened upon the story, and the news report said they suspected it was a Spaniard who did it, who shot the animal. And I have to admit, when I saw it, I was so relieved it wasn't an American. I really was. I was like, this is terrible, but thank God it wasn't one of us for once. And then I went online this morning and learned that turns out it was an American. It was one of us. It was a dentist from Minnesota who paid $50,000 to shoot the lion. According to the news, he hired a company. He flew to Zimbabwe. Two locals took him to the national park. They tied a dead animal to the back of a Jeep to lure the lion out of the park because it's illegal to shoot them in the park. They call it baiting. And once they got the lion out of the park, they put a spotlight on him, and then the dentist shot Cecil with a bow and arrow. But the arrow didn't kill the lion, so they tracked him, and 40 hours later shot him with a gun, skinned him, and took the head and left the body there. Now, unfortunately for them, the researchers at Oxford who were tracking Cecil were able to trace the signal and find the carcass, and the local authorities found the hunters who, they say they realized too late that they shot an animal with GPS. They tried to destroy the tracking collar, but failed to do that. So they know who it was. The American hunter, whose name is Walt Palmer, is currently in hiding. He closed his dental office in Bloomington, Minnesota, and he emailed a statement to the news saying, I had no idea that the lion I took was a known local favorite until the end of the hunt. Which, first of all, stop saying you took the animal. You take aspirin. You killed the lion. You didn't take it. And he continued, he said, to my knowledge, everything about this trip was legal and properly handled. I relied on the expertise of my local professional guides to ensure a legal hunt. Which, okay, good. Let's say we accept at face value that he thought it was legal and properly handled and didn't know the lion had a tracking collar. It was a local fair. The big question is, why are you shooting a lion in the first place? I mean, I'm honestly curious to know why a human being would feel compelled to do that. How is that fun? Is it that difficult for you to get an erection that you need to kill things that are stronger than if that's the case, they have a pill for that. It works great. Just stay home and swallow it, and you save yourself a lifetime of being the most hated man in America who never advertised Jell-O pudding on television. And by the way, I'm not against hunting. If you're hunting to eat or to help keep the animal population healthy or it's a part of your culture or something, that's one thing. But if you're some a-hole dentist who wants a lion's head over the fireplace in his man cave so his douchebag buddies can gather around it and drink scotch and tell him how awesome he is, that's just vomitous. And this guy must have quite a collection of animal heads because, well, here he is posing next to a bear he shot. In 2008, he was convicted of a felony for lying about where he killed a bear in Wisconsin. He got a year probation for that. This is another lion he killed in 2008. This is a leopard. This is a rhino. He killed like half of Noah's Ark. And I don't get it. I also don't think it's the answer is to start a witch hunt for the guy. Some people online are saying we should skin him and feed him to the lions, or which it's crazy, but it should be handled in a lawful way. And the men who took him out of the Jeep should be made accountable too. But in the meantime, I think it's important to have some good come out of this disgusting tragedy. So this is the website for the Wildlife Conservation Research Unit at Oxford, wildcru.org. These are the researchers who put the collar on Cecil in the first place. They track the animals and study them. If you want to do something, if you want to make this into a positive, you can, sorry. Okay, I'm good. Make a donation, support them at the very least. Maybe we can show the world that not all Americans are like this jackhole here, this dentist, the top dentist. I am Jimmy Kimmel. If you like that.
Carla DeLavange took part in a recent Monday Show interview, but many have wanted to disappear by the end of it, much like her character does in the film Paper Towns. DeLavange appeared on Good Morning Sacramento to promote the film, and things got off to a bumpy start when she was asked if she had read the John Green book on which it was based. The 22-year-old actress quipped, "No, I've never read the book or the script actually. I kind of winged it." When one of the co-hosts asked whether it was easier for her to focus when she had a busy schedule, she replied, "No, I don't know where that comes from." Finally, one of the anchors asked if she was, quote, a bit irritated or if it was just them. DeLavange said, "No, I think it's just you." One anchorman said that they should let her go, with another adding, "Well, I'll let you go take a nap, maybe get a Red Bull. How about that?" When DeLavange left the screen, the anchors continued to criticize her attitude. "She was in the mood," one said. It's the end of the road for Cinemax's Banshee. The HBO sibling network has canceled the drama, with the upcoming 8-episode fourth season said to be the last, The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. Cinemax would not confirm. The series centered on Lucas Hood, played by Anthony Starr, an ex-con and master thief who tracks down Carrie Hopewell, played by Ivana Milivek, his former lover and partner in crime, who has reinvented herself as the wife of the Banshee, Pennsylvania prosecutor. In Banshee, Hood assumes the identity of the town's sheriff and continues his criminal activities, even as he's hunted by the shadowy gangsters he betrayed years earlier. The drama is executive produced by Alan Ball and Greg Yatenetz, with the latter on board as showrunner. For his part, Yatenetz has also had Cinemax's upcoming Quarry in the works. The move to end Banshee comes as Cinemax has been pursuing more pulpy fare, including Steven Soderbergh's The Knick, as well as eroticism drama Outcast, based on the comic from The Walking Dead creator Robert Kirkman. Banshee's fourth season debuts in 2016. NBC's Live, The Wiz, has enlisted some musical heavy hitters. Queen Latifah and Mary J. Blige have joined the cast of the Live musical, producers announced Tuesday. NBC's The Wiz is set for Thursday, December 3rd, will again be executive produced by Sound of Music and Peter Pan duo Craig Zadan and Neil Marin, with Tony-winning director Kenny Leon attract to direct both the live event as well as the Broadway revival in 2016-2017. Tony winner and Broadway icon Harvey Fierstein will contribute new material to the original book by William F. Brown and work alongside Zidane, Merlon, and Leon. Latifah will portray the Wiz, while Blige is on board as Eveline, the Wicked Witch of the West. They join a cast that includes Stephanie Mills, who starred as Dorothy in the original Broadway production as Aunt Em in NBC's Live musical. A casting search is underway for the role of Dorothy. Latifah's musical credits include Chicago and Hairspray, while Blige is a 9-time Grammy winner. The cast reunites Latifah with Zadan and Merlon. And now let's look back at what happened on this date in entertainment history. On this date in 1967, the Doors scored their first #1 hit with Light My Fire. By the beginning of 1967, the Doors were a well-established member of the Los Angeles music scene. As the house band at the Whiskey A Go-Go on the Sunset Strip, they had built a large local following and strong industry buzz. And out on the road, they were fast becoming known as a band that might typically receive third billing, but could blow better-known groups like the Young Rascals and the Grateful Dead off the stage. It would have been poetic if their popular breakthrough had come via their now classic debut single, Break On Through. But that record failed to make the national sales chart despite the efforts of Jim Morrison and his bandmates to fuel the song's popularity by repeatedly calling in requests for it to local LA radio stations. It was a follow-up release from their debut album, The Doors, which would become their first bona fide smash. Light My Fire, which earned the top spot in the Billboard Hot 100 on this day in 1967, transformed the Doors from rock favorites to the rock cognoscenti into international pop stars and avatars of the 60s counterculture. As Light My Fire climbed the charts in June and early July, the Doors were still out on the East Coast, still plugging away as an opening act. When the group topped the charts in late July, Jim Morrison celebrated by buying his now famous skin-tight black leather suit and began to hobnob with the likes of the iconic model Muse Nico at drug-fueled parties held by Andy Warhol. Attempting to keep Morrison grounded were not only his fellow Doors Robbie Krieger, Raymond Zarek, and John Desmore, as well as the professional manager they hired to, in part, babysit him, but also his longtime girlfriend, Pamela Corson, who's quoted in Jerry Hopkins and Danny Sugarman's Doors biography, "No one here gets out alive," as greeting the sight of Jim Morrison appearing in front of a mirror at home before a show in the summer of 1967 with, "Oh, Jim, are you going to wear the same leather pants again? You never change your clothes. You're beginning to smell. Did you know that?" In the end, of course, Morrison's heavy drinking and drug use would lead to increasingly erratic behavior over the next 4 years and eventually take his life in July 1971. During that period, the Doors would follow Light My Fire with a string of era-defining albums and songs, including People Are Strange, Love Me Two Times, and The End in 1967, Hello, I Love You and Touch Me in 1968, and L.A. Woman and Riders of the Storm in 1971. And on this date in 1981, Princess Charles married Lady Diana. Nearly 1 billion television viewers in 74 countries tuned in to witness the marriage of Prince Charles, heir to the British throne, to Lady Diana Spencer, a young English schoolteacher, married in a grand ceremony at St. Paul's Cathedral in the presence of 2,650 guests. The couple's romance was for the moment the envy of the world. Their first child, Prince William, was born in 1982, and their second child, Prince Harry, was born in 1984. Before long, however, the fairy tale couple grew apart, an experience that was particularly painful under the ubiquitous eyes of the world's tabloid media. Diana and Charles announced a separation in 1992, though they continued to carry out their royal duties. In August 1996, 2 months after Queen Elizabeth II urged the couple to divorce, the prince and princess reached a final agreement. In exchange for a generous settlement and the right to retain her apartments at Kensington Palace and her title of princess, Diana agreed to relinquish the title of Her Royal Highness and any further claims to the British throne. In the years following the divorce, the popular princess seemed well on her way of achieving her dream of becoming a queen in people's hearts. But on August 31st, 1997, she was killed with her companion Dodi Fayed in a car accident in Paris. Tests concluded by French police indicated that the driver, who also died in the crash, was intoxicated and likely caused the accident while trying to escape the paparazzi photographers who consistently tailed Diana in any public outing. On August 9, 2005, Prince Charles wed his longtime mistress, Camilla Parker Bowles, in a private civil ceremony. The ceremony had originally been planned for April 8th, but had to be rescheduled so not to conflict with the funeral of Pope John Paul II. After the civil ceremony, which the Queen did not attend, Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams, blessed the union on behalf of the Church of England in a separate blessing ceremony. An estimated 750 guests attended the event, which was held at St. George's Chapel in Windsor, and was attended by both Charles's parents, Queen Elizabeth II, and Prince Philip. Though Camilla technically became the Princess of Wales with the marriage, she announced her preference for the title of Duchess of Cornwall in deference to the beloved late princess. Should Charles become king, she will be Queen Camilla, though she has already announced her intentions to use the title Princess Consort, most likely in response to public opinion polls showing resistance to the idea of Queen Camilla. And on this date in 2000, Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston, one of Hollywood's highest-profile couples, married at the Malibu, California estate of producer Marcy Carsey. The two actors reportedly met on a blind date in 1998 and quickly became favorites in the tabloid media once they went public with their romance. Their wedding cost an estimated $1 million and featured tight security to keep out the paparazzi. Despite their reputation as one of Hollywood's golden couples, rumors eventually began to circulate that Aniston and Pitt were having problems. In 2004, speculation swirled that Pitt had been romantically involved with Angelina Jolie, his co-star in Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 2005. Over the new year, Pitt and Aniston were photographed walking hand-in-hand on the beach in Anguilla. Just days later, while they were still on vacation, a joint statement was issued announcing their separation. Though it seemed to be an amicable breakup, the press speculated that Pitt had wanted to have a family. Aniston, who had recently wrapped up a 10-year run with Friends, had begun appearing in more films, was reluctant to take a break in her career for motherhood. Pitt was also depicted as being increasingly involved in global charity work, including the AIDS crisis in Africa. Analysis of the breakup only intensified that spring after Pitt was photographed with Jolie, a UNICEF representative, and her adopted son at a beach resort in Africa. Soon they emerged as a full-blown couple, posing as a 1960s-era husband and wife with a brood of blonde children. From a 60-page photo spread titled Domestic Bliss in the July 2005 issue of W magazine. Outraged Aniston fans and friends denounced Pitt, who had in fact come up with the concept for the photo spread himself, as insensitive, and Jolie as a glamorous homewrecker. Novelty t-shirts at the time advertised their wearers as belonging to Team Aniston or Team Jolie, according to Vanity Fair. Aniston's t-shirt stole Jolie 25-1. Aniston and Pitt's divorce was finalized in October 2005. In January 2006, Jolie announced she was pregnant with Pitt's child. Soon after, the news broke that Pitt had successfully adopted Jolie's children, Maddox and Sahara, whose surnames were legally changed to Jolie Pitt. Jolie gave birth to a baby girl, Shiloh, in May 2006. In March of the following year, Jolie and Pitt adopted another son, Pax Thien, from Vietnam. In July 2008, Jolie and Pitt had twins, Knox Leon and Vivian Marchelaine. And that is your entertainment report for Wednesday, July 29th, 2015. I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Melo. I'll be back tomorrow to deliver some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo. That's RAYMELO. Or on Twitter @The Enter Report. You can listen to this episode or any previous episodes of The Entertainment Report anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Good night, and God bless you all.